Welcome to Spotlight on Connected to India. My guest for today is Madhav Mathur, full-time employee of an MNC during the day and a writer and filmmaker after hours. Even though his filmmaking and writing happens in his spare time, he has done very well for himself. Let us talk to Madhav about his books and filmmaking. Madhav, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
My first question to you. You came to Singapore on a Nanyang scholarship in 2001. What you really like is writing books and making films. You did not study the things you love. Is yours the case like that of the boys in Three Idiots?
To some extent, yes, because that urge to make film and to write was always there, and I sort of always pursued it, but always on the side. So even in university, it wasn't something that stopped. I was still doing plays and still making like short films, and that sort of took on a new life of its own after university.
Okay. Tell us a bit more. How did it all start? Did you start writing while you were in India, or did it start after you relocated to Singapore? Tell us about your first book, films,
Sure.
and so on.
I was writing when I was in school, like a second grade. Since then I've been writing, and the first thing I did was like a poem that made fun of a teacher, the principal actually, and that got people laughing a little bit, and I said this is something that might be fun. This might be something that I can do a bit more. I realized early in life I wasn't going to be a sportsman, so this was one thing that I was kind of decent at, and I kept at it. So things started to grow. Little poems became like essays, and then stories, short stories. Submitted them for some school competitions, school papers, things like that. The usual route that people take. And then after that, I wrote some plays, which we did in university. We performed them, and after that, I started working, and on the side, I was also writing. And the first book happened then. When I had a full day job, but most of it was actually written in university. And the first book was called The Diary of an Unreasonable Man. Penguin published it in 2009. That was a lot of fun to write. I think people reacted pretty well to that as well. It's kind of funny, kind of quirky. And now my second book is called Vodka. That's taken a long time to put together, but through the same process.
So 2009 was the first book, and 16 is the second book.
Yes.
Yeah. And I believe the first book, the rights of the book has been bought by Anurag Kashyap to make it into a film. I mean, that's really a big compliment. How did that happen?
That is a huge compliment, but that happened a long time ago. The film hasn't come out, as you know. Hopefully, maybe someday in some form it might. But yeah, that was a big shot in the arm to be recognized for your first work by someone of his stature. I actually approached him because there was a website called Passion for Cinema, and they had a film competition where he was a judge. And I submitted not just me, there were three of us, three idiots from university who were making films together, and we made a submission and we put it up there. He didn't hate it.
I mean, three idiots in your university, your friends.
Yes, my friends. Yeah.
Three computer engineering guys.
Well, no, we had a lot of diversity. There was one mechanical engineer, one electrical engineer.
A lot of diversity.
Big diversity, yeah. Okay. Not the same kind of engineer. But yeah, so we made this thing and he liked it, and I sort of asked him, I'm writing something much bigger in terms of scope and in terms of what I'm trying to do with it, trying to say with it. And he kind of liked the idea, the sound of it. So I sent him a little bit. He said, okay, whenever you're in India next, let's catch up, let's meet. And one thing led to another, and next thing I find myself in Mumbai out of the blue to meet Anurag Kashyap. And it turns out that he was actually going to Pune to be a judge at the film festival. And he said, why don't you come with me to Pune? And like a gangster movie from the 70s, we arranged to meet under a flyover where his car would come and pick me up, and then we would go to Pune. And that's how he read the whole thing actually in that car.
Interesting. Anurag Kashyap had this to say about your first book. The Diary of an Unreasonable Man is shock therapy. Inspired, crafty, clever, and unhinged. How does that make you feel?
That felt really good. I mean, it's unbelievable to hear that from him. I've always liked his films. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to, of course, reach out to the guy as well and see if he might like some of the stuff I was writing about. Definitely, that made my day, and I think I still get a lot of encouragement from reading things like that if someone of that stature says something good about your work.